The incident happened 20 years ago. People say their own home is the safest refuge. But when that very home is right in front of a graveyard and the invisible ghosts of that house try their best to drive you away, that refuge becomes the biggest horror. Before going into the event, I apologize for any mistakes within the story. Let's not waste time and directly dive into the incident. We currently live in Chittagong, but the time I'm talking about, we lived in a different area. This was about 20 years ago. Our grandmother was very ill then. Suddenly one day, she left this world. We were very shattered because we loved Grandma dearly. Our grandfather's house was in front of a Christian graveyard. Grandma used to live there alone with a helper woman. Besides, Grandma did not like living with her son's wives. She lived a fully independent life, what we usually call an honorable life, or standing on her own feet. After Grandma's death, her property was divided, and the house where Grandma lived came to us. At that time, we were renting a house. When we got our own house, Father wanted us to start living in that house. Father's first wish was not to sell Grandma's house. It held memories of his mother. His childhood was spent in that house, so he didn't want the house sold. Therefore, we decided to move into that house. With that thought, we slowly started moving things, and within a month, we had fully moved in. At first, a new house always feels unfamiliar. It takes some time to adjust. It's normal to struggle to adapt when you go somewhere new. Everything feels unknown and strange at first, but gradually you get used to it. The area wasn't densely populated either. There were few people around. 20 years ago, it was quite lonely. You felt scared to go out alone, even during the day. We had a constraint where we wanted to keep renting and didn't want to sell Grandma's house, so we had no choice but to settle there. From our room's window, the graves in front were clearly visible. It was scary to look at during the day, and even more so at night. There were 3 brothers, 1 sister, and parents in our family. We all stayed in separate rooms. Our ages were between 14 and 20. I was the youngest and liked the room right in front of the graveyard gate. Often, when a body was taken for burial, I would look through the window. That gave the place a very heavy atmosphere. Watching the body being taken to the graveyard was never easy. So, I had thick curtains put up in my room so my eyes wouldn't wander there. Yet, sounds of various burial rituals came into the house. One night, around 2 or 3 a.m., I was watching a movie. There was another problem living there. When we watched movies or listened to music, a strange feeling arose inside us. A constant uneasiness that a graveyard was right there and we were watching movies, listening to songs. But we had no choice but to ignore it. That night around 2 or 3 a.m., I was watching a movie. We had been there for 3 or 4 days. Someone knocked on my door. I first stopped the movie and tried to hear if the sound was coming from inside the TV or outside. I waited silently. If someone was outside, they would knock again. But I heard nothing. I resumed the movie, then shortly after, the knock came again, clearer this time. I couldn't ignore it and hurriedly stopped the movie and went out, but the hall was empty. Everyone was in their rooms. I walked around the hall for a long time, but saw no one. Tired, I returned to my room and waited a little, thinking the sound might come again. When I resumed the movie, suddenly there was a loud bang that startled me so much I nearly jumped. Then I saw my brothers run out laughing. They had been trying to scare me. I breathed normally again, but was very scared inside. I called everyone and asked what kind of boys they were. I said I would tell our parents about them. The graveyard was right there, yet they behaved like that. Everyone tried to calm me down and apologized, begging not to tell the parents or they would scold us a lot. That night, I went to bed a bit annoyed. The next morning, we all woke up and had a fun breakfast together. In the afternoon, Mother was working in the kitchen while we siblings were sitting outside chatting. Suddenly, Mother ran out of the kitchen and told us to quickly close the doors. We immediately got up and shut all the doors. I asked Mother what had happened. She said she saw a man standing outside the window, looking toward the kitchen. It's important to note that our kitchen window faced the back of the house and opened to an empty area. It was a daytime incident, not something that could be mistaken like at night. If Mother said she saw someone outside, then she definitely saw someone. When we asked for more details, she described the man as middle-aged, staring at the kitchen. Because of the graveyard in front of the house, there was often traffic of opium addicts and thieves. We thought maybe some of them had entered the house. We quickly called the police. They arrived a bit late and searched not only the house but the surrounding area, including the graveyard, but found no suspicious person. One evening, around the time new mobile phones had just come on the market, our sister was on the roof, probably talking to a friend. After a short time, she ran down gasping for breath, repeatedly saying someone was on the roof. We calmed her down and asked whom she had seen. She described a person exactly like the one Mother had seen outside the window. Hearing this description, Mother nodded repeatedly in agreement. We brothers immediately grabbed torches and sticks and rushed to the roof, but it was completely empty. We looked all around, but didn't see the man anywhere. There were no houses to the right or left. It was impossible for anyone to jump from 20 to 30 feet high to escape. There was no place to hide, nor could he have run away anywhere. We could not understand who Mother and sister had actually seen or why the same man kept appearing to them. Later, my brother also saw a similar man while showering. The man stood outside the bathroom window, staring inside. When my brother described the man, Mother and sister confirmed it was the same person they had seen. Now 3 people could not lie together. After that, the man was never seen again. But then, strange things started happening in our house, forcing us to flee. At night, whenever we brothers and father entered the house, we suddenly heard children playing outside in the garage or front area. But there were no children anywhere in the neighborhood. Even though 7 or 8 houses were on our lane, 3 owners had left the country. One house had only an elderly couple and another a young couple without children. Yet, it sounded like many little children were playing at our house. When these strange events increased, Mother said she felt we had to leave the house as soon as possible. She believed an evil force was there that did not want us to stay. Father tried to reassure her, saying he would speak to the mosque imam, who would bring students to recite the Quran at our house and drive away the evil spirits. Father spoke to the imam on Friday, and the students came to our house as promised. They didn't just search our home, but also thoroughly inspected the surrounding area, including the graveyard, but found no suspicious person. One evening, around the time new mobile phones had arrived, our sister was on the roof, likely talking to a friend. Shortly after, she ran downstairs nearly out of breath, repeatedly saying someone was on the roof. We calmed her and asked whom she had seen. She described a man exactly like the one Mother had seen outside the window. Upon hearing this, Mother nodded repeatedly in agreement. We brothers immediately grabbed torches and sticks and ran to the roof, but the roof was completely empty. We looked around but didn't see the man anywhere. There were no houses on either side. It was impossible for anyone to jump 20 to 30 feet high and go anywhere. There was no place to hide, and he could not have escaped. We could not understand who Mother and sister had really seen or why the same man kept appearing to them. Later, my brother also saw a similar man while showering. The man was standing at the bathroom window, looking inside. When my brother described the man's face, Mother and sister were sure it was the same person they had seen. Now, 3 people could not be lying together. After that, the man was never seen again. But then what started happening in our house forced us to run away. At night, whenever we brothers and father entered the house, suddenly sounds of children playing would start outside, meaning the garage or front yard. But in our entire lane, extending far and wide, there was not a single child. The lane had 7 or 8 houses. 3 of the owners had left the country. One house had only an elderly couple, and another had a young couple without children. Yet, the sounds made it seem like many small children were playing at our house. As these incidents increased, Mother said she thought we must leave this house as soon as possible. She said some evil force was here that didn't want us to stay. Father tried to convince Mother not to worry. He said he would talk to the mosque's imam, who would bring students to recite the Quran and organize a completion ceremony at our house to drive away these evil forces. He had heard that in places where Allah's name is taken, such evil things cannot exist. So on Friday, Father told the Imam, and he promised to come with students. Food arrangements were made. The students came and started reciting the Quran for about 3 to 4 hours. Afterward, food was served, but everyone started spitting out the food in shock. We were all amazed. What had happened? Everyone said the curry tasted extremely salty, almost poisonous, though we had tasted it ourselves and found it perfectly normal. When we saw the curry they were given, it was indeed excessively salty, like poison. I quickly ran to the hotel to get new food and gave it to those innocent students. After they ate, they left. Now everyone in the house was discussing who had put so much salt in the curry. When the Imam left, he told Father that the house felt very heavy to him. Even during the Quran recitation, he felt a burden on his shoulders. He felt many satanic forces were dwelling there. Then the Imam said such houses should not be bought in front of graveyards. This house should never have been bought. Father said it was inherited, not bought. The Imam advised Father to sell it as soon as possible and leave because he didn't think they could live peacefully in such a big house. The way the curry was salted showed their clear intention. Whoever they were, the rituals had disturbed them greatly, and they were angry. After hearing the Imam, we all seriously considered and decided that we should sell the house and buy another one elsewhere. One night a few days later, we were all asleep, probably around 3 a.m., when suddenly it sounded like all the dishes were breaking. The whole house was filled with the clinking sound of falling glassware. The glass dishes were breaking loudly. We all brothers ran downstairs and saw that the showcase where Mother's dinner set was kept had been tilted halfway. That was why the dishes had fallen. We had no idea how the heavy showcase had tilted. Even 10 people couldn't have easily moved it, but it looked like someone stopped it halfway down so it didn't fall completely. We were stunned watching this scene. Only the dishes had slipped and fallen. How is this possible? Who was here doing this? Mother screamed and cried because these dishes were gifts she had received at her wedding and were very precious to her. We could not save a single dish, not even a spoon or plate. Everything got shattered. We had to stay awake all night. Mother kept crying, telling Father, "I warned you earlier we should leave this house. This house is not good." Poor Father consoled Mother, and we tried to comfort them too. But other than giving comfort, what else could we do? The sorrow of the broken dishes never ended. Suddenly, a very loud noise came from outside. We ran out and saw that the entire showcase had fallen to the ground and shattered into pieces, with its contents broken. Those old showcases were very heavy, and when we brought this one into the house, it took about 10 people to lift it, yet we couldn't even raise it more than half a foot. We had dragged it in with great difficulty. Now, to see such a heavy item first tilted halfway upright and then pushed down to the ground, this could not have been the work of ordinary people. As soon as it was morning, we started looking for a new house again. At that time, we wanted to rent a place because this house had to be shown to buyers repeatedly. Almost every day someone would come to see it. So we wanted to find a rental house as close as possible to this one, but finding a rental wasn't easy. It usually took 10 to 15 days to find one. Yet staying even one night in that house had become unbearable. One night, around 10 or 11 p.m., as I entered my room, I heard the sound of water running from the bathroom like a faucet was on. I went to open the door, but found it locked inside. Usually my brothers use my bathroom, so I thought maybe one of them was inside. I sat on the sofa and started reading a book. Then there was a knock on my door. I asked, "Who is it?" My brother entered. He was the same brother I thought was showering inside. I looked at him, then at the bathroom door. He often used my bathroom, no one else did. I asked him where the others were. He said they were sleeping, but the sound of showering still came from inside. I gestured for him to be quiet and called him close, saying, "Listen to the sound coming from the bathroom." We both went close to the bathroom door and listened carefully. From inside came a sound like someone was showering while humming a song. We knocked and called out, and the humming stopped, but the water kept running. When we knocked again, it felt like someone was unlocking the latch inside. We heard the latch opening. It opened, but still, neither of us dared open the door to see who was inside. We stepped back a bit and called out from a distance. "Whoever you are, speak quickly. It won't be good otherwise. Come outside. We have guns." We were very scared, so said whatever came to mind, wondering who we were threatening with guns. Suddenly, the bathroom door opened. Hot steam came out since hot water had been used inside. At first, no one was visible inside. As the steam cleared a bit, we entered and saw the bathroom was completely empty. Tell me, how can we ignore this? The bathroom door had locked itself inside. The humming sound was coming from inside, and then the lock opened by itself. Most astonishingly, the door opened on its own. We got so scared that we immediately went to Father and Mother's room. We didn't even have the courage to stay alone for a moment. Our sister had already gone to their room earlier. From the next day, we hurried our house search. We found a rental and paid the advance, but the landlord asked for 2 days to finalize the deal and give us the keys. We had no time, but the landlord insisted on waiting 2 days, meaning we had to stay in that house for 2 more days. We all agreed to sleep together in one room from then on, as sleeping separate was too risky. We chose the room where no paranormal activity had occurred so far. As we were about to sleep, suddenly knocking sounds came from inside the wardrobe. It felt like someone inside was moving around, making the wardrobe shake. We were scared and silently stared at the wardrobe. Suddenly, the wardrobe doors swung open and everything inside fell to the ground. A black cat ran out and disappeared outside. We were seeing such a supernatural event up close for the first time. Suddenly, the wardrobe doors swung open and everything inside fell to the ground. A black cat ran out and disappeared outside. We were seeing such a supernatural event up close for the first time. We had heard many stories about jinns, but witnessing one right before our eyes was unbelievable. We spent that night very anxiously. Mother was very stressed, and we quietly recited Ayatul Kursi. At dawn, we hurried to the landlord and told him everything. He was a good man and understood our situation. He gave us the keys immediately. We moved out our belongings. Meanwhile, our house was sold. A few days later, we told the buyers that there were problems with the house, and they should take it only if they could handle them. The buyer was from America and didn't believe in jinn stories. He laughed, saying, "What are you telling me? These jinn stories." He bought the house with his wife. But about a week later, he came back to us saying we were absolutely right. He said he had locked the house and was returning to America, asking us to keep the keys and take responsibility for selling the house. He didn't say what had happened to him, but we understood that since he was fleeing within a week, something terrible must have occurred. Later, we gave the keys to a broker and moved elsewhere. The last news we had was that the house was still locked. I even took a photo of it, which I can share if you want. Honestly, that house was the den of a demon, and if we hadn't left in time, something very bad could have happened to us. Allah protected us,